Communication. It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? We seem to be able to talk to strangers, but not to those we hold close. Here we are, arguably the most connected generation in the history of humankind. We can order a venti, sugar-free, non-fat, extra shot, oat milk latte from a barista we've never met, meticulously detailing our caffeine-induced desires with the precision of a NASA engineer coding a rocket launch. We can describe the location, duration, and intensity of our latest mysterious rash to a doctor, blushing only slightly as we delve into the particulars. And we can unleash a torrent of curse words at the minivan that dared to merge into our lane without properly signaling. All total strangers whom we've never met, and our communication with them, from friendly to embarrassing to outright rude, is as easy as putting on our shoes. Yet, when faced with the prospect of having a genuine, meaningful conversation with another human being, especially one we may actually care about, we become about as articulate as a goldfish trying to explain quantum physics. It's truly baffling. We're fluent in the language of consumerism, medical terminology, and road rage, but utterly incapable of expressing our hopes, fears, and anxieties to the people who supposedly matter most. So what gives? Are we suddenly afflicted with a global epidemic of laryngitis that only kicks in when emotions are involved? Did aliens replace our vocal cords with tiny, anxiety-ridden squirrels who gnaw on our ability to form coherent sentences? The truth, as always, is a little more underwhelming. Let's face it, vulnerability is terrifying. Exposing our true selves with all our imperfections and insecurities is akin to walking naked through a crowded mall. We're afraid of judgment, rejection, and the soul-crushing realization that we're not as perfect as our meticulously curated social media profiles suggest. So, we compensate. We master the art of small talk, the subtle dance of avoiding uncomfortable topics, and the strategic deployment of emojis to mask our true feelings. We build walls of sarcasm, irony, and carefully crafted indifference, fortifying ourselves against the potential onslaught of emotional pain. After all, it's much easier to argue with a stranger online about the merits of pineapple on pizza than to admit to your partner that you're feeling insecure about your career. It's safer to craft the perfect Instagram caption than to tell your friend that you're struggling with loneliness. Don't get me wrong, technology is amazing. It allows us to order groceries from our couch, stalk our exes from the comfort of our beds, and learn about the mating rituals of the dung beetle at 3 a.m. But it's also subtly rewired our brains, prioritizing instant gratification and superficial connection over genuine human interaction. We're addicted to the dopamine rush of likes and notifications, constantly seeking external validation instead of cultivating inner confidence. We spend hours crafting the perfect online persona, neglecting the real-life relationships that require time, effort, and a healthy dose of vulnerability. And let's not forget the art of ghosting, a modern marvel of passive aggressiveness that allows us to vanish from someone's life without so much as a farewell text. It's the ultimate expression of our fear of confrontation, our inability to have a difficult conversation, and our crippling addiction to instant gratification. Perhaps the most disheartening aspect of this communication crisis is that it's self-perpetuating. We learn these patterns of avoidance and superficiality from our parents, who learn them from their parents, and so on. We're a society steeped in a legacy of emotional repression, where vulnerability is seen as a weakness and expressing feelings is considered dramatic or attention-seeking. Many times it's just simply a childish attitude of, "I don't wanna," which is even more disheartening. Imagine you meet someone online, you're talking for a week before you go on a date, They seem completely into you, even suggest that you go out again. But the next day, you don't send the first good morning text, and that is where the conversation abruptly ends. You're left there thinking, was that me? Did I do that? Let me clarify this for you. No, you didn't do that, and yes, the other person can send you a text if they wanted to. People are fairly simple to figure out. If they wanted to talk, they would. They're not trapped under a car. They're not being devoured by a shark. They have their phone around them, and yes, they could be driving, they could be working, or they could very well just be busy. But somewhere in that 8-hour day of theirs, they can reply back. The truth is, most of the time, they know their phone went off, and they just didn't want to say anything, so they didn't reply back. It's honestly, and sadly, that simple. But this is an excellent example of what I'm talking about, our growing ability of not being able to communicate. They couldn't tell you that they just didn't feel the connection with you on your date, and that they had no intention of trying to see you again. Because the idea of having to tell you that face to face was so terrifying to them that they figured you'd just fade out. The issue many of us have with this is it's a huge waste of our time. Dates are like job interviews anymore, so if you don't like someone, just say so. Let them go and find someone else who does, instead of wasting away their days trying to see if there's something there. Just say it, just talk. So, here we are. How do we break free from this cycle of silence? How do we reclaim the art of genuine connection and learn to communicate with the people we care about? Well, I wish I had a neat and tidy answer for you. Maybe a 12-step program? A self-help book written by a guru who claims to have all the answers? But the truth is, there's no easy fix. It requires conscious effort, a willingness to embrace vulnerability, and a healthy dose of uncomfortable conversations. It means putting down our phones, looking people in the eye, and actually listening to what they have to say. It means admitting when we're wrong, apologizing when we've hurt someone, and expressing our needs and desires with honesty and authenticity. I know another fear here is not knowing how the other person will react. I know this because I myself get scared many times about what someone will say back to me. We live in a time when rejection is not something many can handle, nor want to hear for that matter. And sometimes saying what you feel is met with a childish lash out from the other person. Please remember that in order to be the bigger person, you have to understand that not everyone is on your level, and that is okay. They may not be able to handle you being forward with them and saying what you feel. But you need to keep in mind, it's because most people don't do that with them. Many have become so used to dropping conversations and running away that when they are met with someone who can actually communicate and say what they feel, they simply don't know what to do. So they react rather than acknowledge what you are trying to say. That, however, is on them, not you. Take it with a grain of salt and move on. It's a daunting task, I know, but if we don't start trying, we risk becoming a generation of highly connected, utterly disconnected individuals, fluent in the language of consumption, but tragically incapable of speaking the language of the heart. And that, my friends, would be a truly tragic irony.